Welcome back to another of our Sun City Shadow Hills podcasts. I have a special guest this time who's going to cover two areas. One is a club that we have in formation here, the Backgammon Club, and he also is going to cover a subject that I have heard feedback on that people are interested in hearing about, people who have built up a second career that is interesting. And my guest today, Phil Simborg, has done both. Phil, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's pleasure to be here.
Backgammon is a club that we have been trying to start here for a couple of years and have had a hard time getting traction. Backgammon was a very popular game within the adult memory of many of the people here. People walk back and say, I'd love to play again. Why should they reconsider getting involved in the sport?
Well, first of all, I would call it more of a game than a sport, but it does get very sporty when you get excited and start working and you're jumping up out of the chair. So I do get an adrenaline rush from it, but that's probably one of the main reasons to play. It's fun and it's exciting. Is the number one reason I give anyone to take a backgammon. But particularly for people as they're getting older, every single study that's been done about aging proves that if you keep your mind very sharp and occupied with some kind of a hobby or something that interests you and gives you passion, your mind is going to not atrophy anywhere near as fast, and the malign sheath around your nerve endings is going to be more active. And backgammon just happens to be one of the best ways to stay exercised. It is a game that requires quite a bit of depth of thinking to play well. You use a lot of deductive and inductive reasoning. You read your opponent, and it is a game that takes a tremendous skill to play well. And you can also learn the game in about 10 minutes. You can be playing the game, especially if they've had some experience in the past, and start playing and having fun. And as they learn more and more, they'll get better and better as you have yourself. You become a very, very fine player with some study, and it's just a great pastime. You can play it online. You can play it from your bed. There's plenty of places to play it online. You can get together socially and play it in a group setting. You can play it one-on-one if you like to gamble. It's not a bad gambling game at all and fun, but it's also strictly as an intellectual pastime. It's a great, great pastime, and I'm speaking from experience. I was I was a life master at bridge when I was in my early 20s. I'm a top gin player. I played racquetball, golf, many things, and I gave up just about everything for backgammon because it became such a great and fun and exciting passion for me my entire life. So I think I'm a living proof of what a great game it is. A lot of people gave it up just because it was a fad. They didn't take it up seriously. But the people who took it up seriously, who started learning about it, saw the real underlying beauty, the logic and reasoning of playing the game, have fallen in love with it, and quite a bit of people are addicted to the game. And a lot of people, what they don't know is how many people are coming back to the game and how many new players are coming to the game all over the world. The game is growing. Backgammon tournaments are getting bigger all over the world, and I think we're going to see in the next 5 or 10 years a real boom for people playing backgammon, just simply because it's just too great a game to slip by the wayside.
Yeah, I've got an interesting story about how you transitioned from bridge to backgammon. I know it, but I'd like you to share it with the listeners.
Well, yeah, it was a gradual transition, but when I was playing bridge, I happened to be living in Dallas. I was just out of college, and I was playing at one of the best places in the world to play with the famous Dallas Aces, who represented the United States. Oswald Jacoby and his friends were there, and I became very friendly with Oswald. And Oswald Jacoby just happened to be a 2-time world champion bridge player. Backgammon player, as well as one of the best bridge players in the world, as well as one of the best gin players in the world. So all three things that I sort of enjoyed, but I really didn't, I just dabbled in backgammon a little bit since I was in high school. But I watched Oswald, and I played with him some, and he coached me some, and I soon found out what an exciting and tremendous game it was, and I was addicted from then on. And I actually gave up bridge because bridge you had to have a partner. Bridge you couldn't play online, and you couldn't play with two people. And there was a lot of cheating going on in bridge. When the higher levels you got into, as a matter of fact, the World Cup team found out they lost several times to the Italian, and later on they found out, and it's very famous, and it's been published, that the Italian team was cheating. And it's not very easy to cheat in backgammon. It is possible, but it's very hard to do. Everything's on the table. And so it was a more honest and direct game and much easier to play. But I also found it just so much more fun. Well, I was in the corporate real estate business for many, many years, and I found myself, I was quite successful. I landed some of the biggest accounts in the world, AT&T, FedEx, Kraft, General Electric were my accounts, and I had lots of people working for me, and I had some degree of success, and all I could think about in the afternoons was, how do I get out of the office and go play some backgammon? It was just too much fun. It was my passion. And at one point I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and he said, make your vacation your vocation. And that really hit me like a ton of bricks. There's nothing I like more than playing backgammon. So I started teaching a little bit on the side just for fun, because I was pretty good and people wanted to learn. I enjoyed teaching. And the next thing I knew, I was having all kinds of people coming to me offering to pay me. And it seemed to me that I could make a living by teaching backgammon and playing backgammon. And I was getting towards the retirement age. I'm 71 years old now, and this happened about 12 or 15 years ago. And I was getting towards the retirement age, and I found that if I put up a website, people started coming to me for lessons. And I was taking lessons myself from the very, very fine player and mentor, Barry Gardner, and I had taken lessons from others, and he encouraged me to make this a business. So together we formed the Backgammon Learning Center, and now we have 15 teachers that we have trained that are working under us, and I give lessons at least 3-4 hours a day. I retired completely from real estate. I give lessons anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a day online, and I also am flown all over the United States and other parts of the world by some wealthy people to take live lessons, and they pay my expenses and quite a bit of money for lessons because they play for either a lot of money or play in major tournaments, and I've made it into a business. And I also have some side businesses that I've gone into as a result. I don't know if you want to get into those right now, but the main thing is I am basically have this teaching organization, and it's been really, really fun. And of course, at the same time, my own game has gotten better, and I've done fairly well in tournaments and private play, and I'm having a ball. I've made my vacation my vocation, just as Tony Robbins said. And the gratification I get from teaching, I found out that teaching has been one of the greatest joys of my life. Even when I was in the real estate business, I became a lecturer and a teacher of real estate ethics, and I was chairman of the National Association of Realtors Ethics Committee, and I gave lectures all over the world on real estate ethics and negotiation. So I learned that I enjoyed sharing my knowledge and teaching others and mentoring others, and it's lovely to be able to do that and make a living too.
Yeah. Well, that is a great story. I thank you for telling it. I took 2 questions to get the whole thing. I hope that our listeners are going to take your suggestions to heart, and our backgammon club here at Shadow Hills will grow. And also, it's very instructive for people that there is oftentimes a second career pursuing something that you would happily do and have been doing for free anyway. And so hopefully there'll be some more listeners that'll follow that path. I think that's a really good story.
I agree totally. I'll tell you, I'm not only living proof of it, but so are my 2 sons. I have 2 sons, both around 40 years old. They are both very, very successful doing what they love and what they enjoy. They're very, very good at it, and they've made a very fine living doing what they like best, and so they followed in my footsteps. I was a direct example for them, and I told them, don't wait until you're 60 to start doing this. Start doing it at a young age, and I think we're seeing more and more people do that, and sometimes you fall flat on your face. I understand Sam Walton went bankrupt a bunch of times before he was successful with Walmart, and I fell flat on my face a couple times when I was in the real estate business. But eventually, whether you make it or not, you're going to have more fun, and that's what it's all about. One more thing I want to add is I'm going to see just how much damn fun it is. And then you go from there, and I can help you with backgammon boards, supplies, some strategies to get them involved. I've done this at many other places around the country, both for college and for retirement groups, and it works. So, and then once you get it started, all they need is someone like you who loves the game to keep it organized and going. And in your community, it should be a very, very big success. And no reason we can't make this a real go. I'm going to make it one of my personal hobbies going forward to work with you on this.
Great. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you out here and getting our local club ignited.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Okay, so
I love your podcast.
Bye-bye.